Thought farmers' woes were over last year once the crops were harvested.
Now they're having to deal with potentially fatal repercussions from last year's wet harvest. KIMT News 3's Nick Kruszelnicki is in Cerro Gordo County to explain. Nick.
Well, George and Katie, it's something that's kind of unusual to hear about this time of year. Grain bin deaths. But I'm hearing that some farmers are getting into their grain bins and trying to unclump some of the stuck up grain, and they end up getting engulfed in the process.
It's a dangerous situation. You really got to be careful.
Farmer Kevin Pope, who works a spread near Mason City, is keenly aware that farmers can get trapped in a grain bin quickly.
The force of flowing grain is unbelievably strong, and there's no way as a person you can overcome that force, and that's where a lot of people get into trouble, is they get sucked down into that grain, and then it's just a matter of minutes.
Farmers have been venturing into their grain bins this winter to break up clumps of corn sticking to the sides or jamming up equipment. Craig Bakehouse with North Iowa Cooperative explains why this is happening.
The corn was wetter this year, and with the temperatures being colder, it took longer to dry the corn.
Farmers are aware of the dangers of entering grain bins. Pope has some suggested safety practices to prevent getting swallowed up by a silo full of grain.
You don't ever get into a grain bin while you're trying to unload it. You know, you want the unloading equipment turned off, and you always want other people there with you, and it's just risky business.
At North Iowa Cooperative, Bakehouse says there is one absolute rule nobody deviates from.
When we have corn in the bin, we don't enter into the bins. It can create, there could be some bridging. If you enter from the top, an air pocket underneath where the grain could collapse.
Some sad news. We learned just a few hours ago that a farmer in Illinois was actually killed in a grain bin accident. That happened this morning. Live in Cerro Gordo County, Nick Kruszelnicki, KIMT News 3.
Thank you, Nick. Now here in Minnesota, State Senator Nick Frentz of North Mankato is proposing a bill that would offer grants to farmers so they can install safety equipment in grain bins to prevent such fatal accidents.
We track storms to alert you first. This is KIMT Storm Team 3, weather coverage you can count on.